If you know someone with ADHD, or if you have ADHD yourself, this video is for you. I want to bring some things to light that a lot of people don't really understand about ADHD, and I'll also be talking about the struggles that they go through on a daily basis. The majority of the time, people who have ADHD are misunderstood. They are really emotional on the inside, and they overthink like crazy. So we're going to be diving into those things. I'll also have timestamps in the video and in the description. So if there's a part that you want to skip to or you want to hear about, feel free to skip to it. So most of you who clicked on this video probably already know the basics of ADHD. But for the people who don't, I just want to do a quick recap before we dive any further. ADHD stands for Attention Deficient Hyperactive Disorder. Now, here's where things get interesting. A lot of people who think everyone with ADHD acts the same, but that's not true at all. Think of it like this. They're like different categories. Some people struggle more with attention, focus, forgetfulness, zoning out, or getting distracted. Other people struggle more with hyperactivity, impulsiveness, feeling restless, talking a lot, interrupting, or even feeling like their brain is always moving. And then there's people who have a mix of both. That's why ADHD can look different from person to person. Not everyone with ADHD is super hyper, and not everyone struggles with attention in the exact same way. I just wanted to quickly explain the basics before we dive further into this video. Now, I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people with ADHD struggle with, but a lot of people don't know about. It's called RSD, which stands for Rejection Sensitivity Dysphoria. Now, before I explain it, I want to say this. Not everyone with ADHD experiences this the same way, and some people may not experience it at all. But for a lot of us, it's real. Basically, RSD can make rejection, or even the feeling of being rejected, hurt way more than it does for other people. And the crazy part, sometimes nobody even rejected us. Our brain just starts overthinking. We just overthink everything. For example, someone doesn't text us back for a while, and instead of us thinking, oh, they're probably busy, our brain starts going, did I say something wrong? Are they mad at me? Or do they just not like me anymore? Was I too annoying? Or maybe someone acts a little different one day. Say someone doesn't speak to you like usual. Maybe they seem more quiet. And now we're replaying every interaction in our head, wondering if we messed something up. And I'm not gonna lie, this is something I struggle with myself. Sometimes I overthink conversations, sometimes I wonder if somebody actually likes me, if I said too much, or if somehow I made things awkward without even realizing it. And for people with ADHD, those thoughts can feel really intense. What I want people without ADHD to understand is this. We're not trying to be dramatic, clingy, or emotional. A lot of times we generally do care, and our brains just overthink things way more than we want it to. And for the people with ADHD watching this, if you relate to this, you're not weird at all. Like you're definitely not alone. We all go like this is something that like I struggle with. Like everybody I know with ADHD struggles with this. So if you feel like you're alone, don't worry. Like we're here. Like we can all kind of relate with you. Okay, so this one right here can make people with ADHD feel lazy. What I mean by that is that there's something called executive dysfunction, or what a lot of people call ADHD paralysis. And if you have ADHD, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. You know you need to do something, maybe it's cleaning your room, replying to messages, making a phone call, doing homework, paying bills, starting a project, just going to the gym, or even doing something you actually want to do. But for some reason, your brain just won't move. If from the outside looking in, people think, why won't you just do it? You're being lazy. You keep procrastinating. But what people don't truly understand, sometimes we want to do it. We literally sit there thinking about it for hours. And the whole time we're thinking, come on, just get up. Why am I not doing this? I need to stop procrastinating. And the crazy thing is, it can make you feel guilty because now you're frustrated at yourself. You know what needs to get done, you want to do it, but your brain just feels stuck. and then sometimes out of nowhere, it's like your brain randomly locks in and suddenly you just do everything at once. You clean the room, you answer everybody, you finish the tasks, start projects, and now you're wondering, why couldn't I do this last week? Why couldn't I do this yesterday or a month ago? And I think one thing people need to understand about ADHD is that motivation doesn't always work the same for us. Sometimes our brain struggles to start things, even important things. It doesn't mean we don't care, it doesn't mean we're lazy, and it definitely doesn't mean we're not trying. You know what I think hurts a lot of people with ADHD? Is being misunderstood. And I don't think people talk about that enough. Because growing up or even as adults, a lot of us hear the same thing over and over. Like, you're lazy, you're too sensitive, you overthink too much, you talk too much, why can't you just focus? And after hearing stuff like that long enough, eventually you kind of just start believing it. You just start wondering, maybe something really is wrong with me. And the crazy thing is, a lot of people with ADHD are actually trying really, really hard. Harder than people realize. Sometimes we're trying hard just to focus, trying hard to remember things, trying hard not to overthink, trying hard not to come off as annoying, trying hard not to be too emotional. And sometimes it feels like no matter how hard you try, people still don't understand where you're coming from. One thing I noticed too, and maybe some of y'all can relate, is sometimes people with ADHD care so much that it becomes exhausting. We care if people are upset with us, we care if we said the wrong thing, we care if somebody's energies feel different, we care if we're being too much. And sometimes people mistake that for being dramatic, when honestly sometimes we just care too deeply. And I think one of the biggest things people with ADHD want is understanding. Not excuses, not pity, just understanding. Like, hey, I see you're trying. Because sometimes hearing that means way more than people realize. Alright, so this one is masking. So this one's going to be an interesting one to talk about because one thing I did for the longest time without realizing was masking. And I didn't even realize I was doing it, but it's basically masking is when you start hiding parts of yourself around other people. And what I mean by this is that you act differently when you're in your home, you act differently when you're out in public, you act differently when you're at work, or just you just act differently in certain environments. And I wouldn't say you act completely different. So for some people it may be completely different, but maybe there's a few things you change about yourself. Like you turn on and off. Like you turn different things on and you turn different things off that you used to do. Or like there's certain things that you do in your home that you just don't do, or like you adapt to the environment. Like maybe you stop talking as much because people used to say you talk too much. Maybe you stop showing excitement because people make you feel weird for being too energetic. Maybe you overthink everything, say because like you don't want to annoy people. And the thing about masking, it usually doesn't happen overnight, especially with ADHD. It happens like like you just like growing up as it like it starts with childhood, right? Well, it doesn't even have to start with childhood. Your whole it's basically your whole life. You're trying to adapt to the environment because you don't want to be criticized in a certain way. That's how ADHD people think. They don't want to be criticized. They don't want to be rejected. And that's one thing I struggle with because I honestly don't even know which version of me is the real me. And what I mean by that is that I do act differently when I'm at work. I do act differently when I'm in public. And I act differently when I'm at home. But it's not a huge like I want it's not like I'm a whole different person, like I just changed overnight, right? It's only like maybe a few subtle things that like maybe I don't talk as much, or if I'm in a crowd, right? Or if I'm just going out to eat with a group of people, right? I won't talk. I will just eat my food, right? Like I'll maybe not say maybe only say a few words. When I'm at work, maybe I'm more talkative, or maybe I'm more quiet. Maybe I'm willing to socialize more. And it just is those type of things, and those are just examples. I honestly don't know, like, cause it's like when you like with ADHD masking, like you just do it without realizing it, and I've just been doing it my whole life, and it got to the point where I don't even know which version of me is the real me. Like, how do I? It's like I'm not sure if anybody else going through that. That's just something uh, that I feel like I'm going through. But it's like you're feeling like people don't fully get you. So without even realizing it, you start adjusting yourself depending on who you want around. You might act one way with friends, another way at work, another way around strangers, and sometimes you become so used to doing it that you don't even realize when you're being the real you anymore. I think for a lot of people with ADHD, we become really aware of how people react to us. We notice little things, tone changes, energy shifts, body language. Sometimes somebody could even seem slightly different, and now we're wondering if we said something wrong. So we start shrinking ourselves a little. Okay, so I'm gonna step back and do that less. You start holding things in, trying not to be too much. And honestly, it just overwhelms us. Because deep down, a lot of people with ADHD just want to feel accepted without feeling like they have to change who they are. But yet we're constantly changing every single day to the point where we don't even realize which selves is our true selves. And I'm not saying this is for like everybody with ADHD, but I'm pretty sure most of the part, like most people with ADHD, they deal with this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I don't want to make it too long, but if you made it this far to the video, I want to thank you. If you enjoy this type of content, just let me know. I'll make more content about ADHD or just talking or just any gameplay, whatever you guys want to know, just or want to see, just leave it in the comments. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, peace.